It's officially
Hey, hey y'all. I know y'all saw me in the last video, but I'm on the phone now, and yeah, I'll see y'all later. Not this video, but probably next one. Probably, but yeah. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
I'm gonna call you back, okay? Alright, that was Niece. And I would like to say happy Vlogmas Day 6. Yes, we are at 6 people. 6. Excuse me. And yes, I'm in a reindeer outfit. Pajama set outfit. Notice we haven't not been going nowhere. It is a pandemic, so I don't really necessarily plan on going anywhere. Let me make sure you guys are on me. Focus all on me. Anyway, welcome back. So, Lily, I hope y'all enjoy Liana calling you because it's like, she likes to be in my videos. I gotta get her a camera. She wants to do YouTube too, so, okay. I gotta get her too. Anyway, welcome back. I wanted to talk to you guys about Thread. Why am I talking to you about Thread? Is because the reality is, this video is basically strict. Well, if you're not a designer and if you're a creator or something like that, you should be understanding. But if you're not, you can move on to something else. But in reality, this is for the fashion designers and or creators of all the world, and we are going to be discussing Thread. Now, most of you probably find that a little bit boring, but like I said, this is for the designers and everybody in the world who like design it and all that type of stuff. So mainly for the people who want to pay attention. Anyway, why are we talking about Thread is because I am having a lot of problems with Thread. It makes me so mad to discover the fact that my problems are literally based on a little spool of string that gives me so much headache, grief, and heartache and pain. And no, I don't have a problem with sewing. It's the embroidery part. Now, most of you probably say my machine would probably be defective, that the embroidery part is not really working up to whatever it is. No, it's not. It's not the machine. It's the thread. How do I know it's the thread? It's because I didn't use this thread on, well, I didn't use this embroidery machine on every last piece of the fabric I use. And it has not given me no problems, no troubles, no nothing. The only embroidery thread that has given me, first of all, let me rephrase that. So, I did embroidery. You guys know I did embroidery. This is when I first got my embroidery and sewing machine. And on the front, my sewing was right here. And then on the back is the embroidery. Why did I do that? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I was so hyped that I got an embroidery and sewing machine. It almost killed me. But, well, I almost damn near leaked out of my chair. But yes. And I've never embroidered anything in my entire life. So this will be the first year I've ever embroidered anything. And this will be like, I want to say, I've been embroidering, so I got this machine in like June, so it's been about, let me say, July, August, September, and then skip a little bit of October, skip a little bit of October, because it was having some problems, and a little bit of half of November. So I've basically been embroidering for 4 months, June, July, August, September, 4 months. Because between, 5 months, if you count this month, because between November and October, it was having some issues. And no, it wasn't the embroidery, it was the sewing part. But like I was saying, now, it's not the embroidery machine, or the embroidery piece, or the embroidery needle, or anything like that in between, because it did all this. Let me bring you guys. It did all this on this, with no problems. Now, I don't know, well, I don't believe it's the fabric either, because it worked perfectly fine on the leather when I was first working on it. And I say that to say is because the fact is, I had to say, being cheap has its woes and its ups and downs, and it also has its problems. One, if you're doing embroidery, one, how I want to start this. Being cheap is like terrible. I don't know, on my part, it is good to be cheap. And 90% you would say in the sewing industry, it is good to get cheaper things when you're trying to sew this, that, and the third. Or some of you would probably say, no, if you're a designer, you need to go all out. It's luxury. I don't think like that, because the reality is everything in this world is basically a luxury. Everything you own is basically a luxury. So the reality is I shouldn't have to spend an immaculate amount of money just to, you know, do a certain thing or act a certain way or do a certain product or like work on a certain product. Like, and I would spend like on my sewing machine. I upgraded my sewing machine, so I did get a whole lot because my other sewing machine broke. That is a luxury, but I'm not gonna spend every nick and cranny, every nick and dime on the items that go for the sewing machine, unless it's parts that's needed for the sewing machine. However, threads and all that type of stuff like needles, threads, maybe foot pressers, I feel like they don't really need to be so expensive. And that's what this video is all about. Expensive sewing tools or expensive sewing tools. Because we just gonna leave that at expensive sewing tools. And thread is the most expensive one that I have came across yet. And when I go into Walmart, it's like, if you buy it separately, it's like $3 and some change, or $2 and some change. Actually, yeah. And in Joann's, they charge you $4 and some change for thread. And now the only place I've seen thread is like little bit cheap is like maybe like Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby sells thread for like maybe $1, and you get $1 and plus a little bit of tax, so it's like $2. That is the cheapest place, because Joann's literally sells their thread about half of that, especially when you're embroidery. And normally when I be going thread shopping, the problem with me is that, the problem with thread shopping is that I don't necessarily, it's not that I don't know where to go at. The problem is I be looking for nice little prices and deals and stuff, because like, I already paid like $4 something for the sewing machine, and then to get it fixed is like $2 something, and then to get it, to do everything else for it is like really, really expensive. So I would expect buying my sewing tools to be less expensive as hell, but it's like, it's not. Your best bet, well, I hate to say it, if you were like me and you were going into like Walmart or somewhere, I mean, I would go into Joann's and buy me some sewing thread because it's actual sewing store, but the problem is it's kind of expensive. So, where you would buy probably like a sewing kit, where it comes, well, not a sewing kit, sewing thread kit. It's just a bunch of threads. It would cost $5 at Walmart, but it would cost about $8 or $9 at Joann's. And I don't know if Hobby Lobby even sells sewing thread kits. But I know at Joann's, I went to Joann's and their kits are like maybe a little bit more. I think they have kits. No, Joann's has kits. They have kits. Hobby Lobby doesn't have kits, but Walmart has them, and they're like $5 and some change, or actually $4 or $5 and some change. And Joann's has it about for like $8 or $9 some change. But I believe that's because they're just a main base sewing store, and that's where people mostly run to when they need to, like, you know. Now I go to Joann's for like my authenticated fabric. I want to say expensive fabric, because I ain't gonna lie, some of my pieces came from Walmart and some of my pieces came from Joann's. And we'll do a video on that too. But yeah. And I say this to say is because when I was embroidering today, it just made me so mad to like think about that. I really got to spend a lot just to embroider a project. Here's what I'm talking about. Okay, now most of you don't know that if you do know, I've been making pouch purses for the last couple months since the pandemic hit. Okay? And if you're wondering why I don't make face masks, mask. Well, I'm gonna make face masks. It just didn't really hit me at first because face masks are actually needed and essential. We also gonna be talking about a little bit of the pandemic thing too, because I got some words for the government. Anyway, yeah, I've been making pouch purses, and the one thing about pouch purses is that they're cute. They're they're cute, and you know you can carry them around everywhere, and they're lightweight, as opposed to a pocketbook. Now I like pocketbooks too, big old pocketbooks, because it makes me feel like I'm expensive. Like I spend a dime or two on this, and I'm gonna rock it until till they come get me or till I buy another one. But I like pouch purses too, and it was doing well. I guess mixed with the blue fabric, but then afterwards it started to catch, and I have no idea. Okay, so blue fabric, blue thread. So if you guys don't know, I brought embroidery thread from Walmart. It was about what, $4 for both of them. So I guess $2 and some change. Or actually no, maybe $6. No, $4 and some change. Both of them together. It was $2 and some change. And I guess because it was a sale that day, and I'm not sure. I did say embroidery thread at Walmart costed a little lesser than Joann's, because Joann's had their thread about more expensive. Yeah. So I bought embroidery thread from Walmart, and I was so excited to embroider something, so I grabbed the two main threads that were actually only left. Like, Walmart didn't really have any stock. I went to like 3 different Walmarts just to find embroidery thread, and I found 2. And it was metallic blue, and then there was like this white, I guess white metallic. Did they have silver metallic? No. Okay, yeah, no. It was silver metallic thread. Actually, no, it was white metallic. White metallic. Now, again, it came out cute. Actually, no, I think it was regular thread. I don't think it was no metallic in this one at all. Like the blue has some nice metallic in it. And what was the problem with it was, so far, is that the blue was smooth. Like when I showed you on that little piece of muslin, it was smooth. Ooh, it sewed on completely fine with no problems. And it sewed on the regular, and it sewed on this fabric good. But the white is just so bad. I don't understand. And it wasn't the tension that was high. It was set at the same settings, and it was like, wow, this thread is really trash. And it just made it, and I spent like $2 and some change on this. To be exact, I spent about maybe more than that, because actually I did. I spent about $5 and change. And it's $2 and some change for both threads. Yes, that comes to 4, but once they add in the tax, which is $1 or more, you get about $5.28 or $5.98, or not $5.98, maybe $5.17 actually. $5 tax. I know it's $1.98 every time. It's $1 tax every time you buy something at the store at Walmart. Or I know, because every time I purchase something, they add in their taxes, and I don't have the receipt. So yeah, it's $1 tax more. So what would be paid for like $4 and some change plus the tax, you're getting it for about $5. And what happened? I thought it was a good deal. That's expensive considering the fact. Well, to me, because it's just thread, and it's not the. I mean, like it's not the end of the world, but it's like I spent $5 for both threads and it's not even working right. And I guess it's a little bit more because it's embroidery. And again, my sewing machine is an embroidery and sewing machine, so I needed thread for the embroidery part. And Walmart only sells like the brother sets of thread, so like you're getting like a bunch of threads, set threads for like $5. That's an actual deal. That's worth it, because the embroidery because the regular sewing thread, it's like it's lit. I mean, it's worth it. But you're getting a lot of spools of thread for half as much as what you buy for like just one. And for embroidery, they don't really have sets, and it's like, I like to embroider things now, but I can't because it's like it's gonna have to be put on the back burner. It's like it's going to have to be put on the back burner, and I'm going to have to like either wait and buy a set, which most of you would probably be like, take your ass to a sewing store and just buy a set, but that would be okay if there was a sewing store that was literally near me. Like, there's no sewing store near me. It's like there's one in Burlington, which is, I believe, Stony Brook, and then there's another one, actually then you have Joann's, Walmart, and Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby only sells them one at a time, one spool at a time. Walmart only sells them one spool at a time, and then Joann's are way too expensive for my taste. Like, I'm being honest, it's way too expensive. It's, once they add in their taxes, like $9 or $10. I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but $10 more is just a little bit extreme. And I feel like it's a kind of a, crook, because I mean, like, I'm not gonna say not everybody can do this, not everybody can afford that, and I'm like, you should be able to, but it's like, it's other things I gotta do with my money besides, just on all sewing. Like, and I gotta be a responsible adult here and do a lot more, so it's like, yeah, I can't really spend all my money on thread. And imagine going into the sewing store and you tell your mom, well, what'd you spend your money on? Well, I'm a grown-ass adult, so whatever I spend my money on is whatever I spend my money on. But you got your parents that fight at you all the time and be like, well, you gotta be responsible. Why didn't you just wait till this, that, and the third, and dot, 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 dot. I'm like, okay, never mind. And I don't want to be arguing. So, yeah, moms will always come at you, though, whenever you do something wrong and they think they know they're right. But anyway, yes. Joann sells them for like $10 to $12 for a set of embroidery thread. Walmart doesn't have a set of embroidery thread, and Hobby Lobby doesn't either. So Stony Brook has some, but I don't know how much they cost. But the last time I was in the store, it was like for Hubsbonna's sewing thread, and I'm just wondering if you guys can let me know, will that actually work on this sewing machine? Because this is a brother. See, I have a brother sewing machine, and I don't have Hubsbonna, so I just don't want to fuck up my sewing machine with that embroidery thread. Maybe, I don't know if I can obtain thread for brother and then do one for Hubsbonna and see how they work side by side. That could be a video if I can obtain it, because the reality is, yeah, I don't want to fuck up my machine. I just got it this year. I'm trying to be as gentle as possible. Anyway, yeah, Stony Brook has some embroidery thread. Walmart has embroidery thread, but it's online, and it's $44. And again, your girl's at a tight squeeze standstill, because the reality is, that's a lot of, that's a lot in general too. And I mean, pretty much to go with what it says, I feel like you shouldn't have to spend a lot on your sewing tools, like sewing thread in general. Sewing thread is really expensive, mainly because I believe, sellers make it more expensive for people to buy, is because you're going to be using their threads to make money. You're going to be using your threads as to be making garments, clothes, pocketbooks, shoes, etc. And they make their stuff more expensive because you buying, they gonna sell it, and then it's gonna be worth it. Now, when I get a surgery, I know I'm gonna be spending a dime a buck, because unless I find a set for surgery cones online, because Walmart only sells them one at a time. And I don't know if Joann and them sell them that, so well, they should, but in reality, I know theirs is gonna be expensive. I've had to buy one at a time. And no, I did not do that with this. Please don't spoil. See, I brought the kit, I brought the set. I brought the set, and the sets always came for about like either 5 or 6, no, not 5 or 6, maybe 8 to 6 different sewing threads. So that was a deal. That was a deal for like $5 or $6. 8 to 6 sewing threads, 8 to 6 sewing spools, those, and I'm set pretty much for sewing. That's the sewing part. The embroidery part is where I need to be looking for, and the serger part. Because when I get a serger, this is gonna be a living nightmare. I know me. Shit, I'm gonna go into Walmart and be looking for a steel grab or something. I'm gonna have to look online literally for an embroidery sewing spool kit and sergering kit, because the reality is I'm gonna go broke buying one at a time. And that's what I did when I first got a sewing machine. Literally, I went into Walmart and brought one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. And this is before they had sewing kits a little bit. Like literally, they didn't really have sewing kits in Walmart. They did, but they didn't really have enough for me. Like paying $4 for just like 4 spools of thread was not worth it. And I can say now it's actually worth it. It was $4 for 3 spools of thread, and then it was like $5 or $6 for like 6 spools of thread in a pack. So it was worth it for now, but back then it wasn't. So I would just buy, plus I didn't really have the money back then to be doing that. I would buy like one at a time, and then get another one at a time, and then try not to use it as much. But the only color I would literally run out of, and this is before I started using different colors of like thread, I would literally run out of black. And that's mainly because I use half my stuff. I thought, okay, well, black is always the natural color to go to. You barely see the seam of that, and plus, mostly everything is made with black thread. Anyway, woo, I was so wrong. I ran back to the store damn near every day just to get a black thread. I think I spent about maybe $40 on black thread alone, and that's one spool of black thread. And not $40 for just one spool. It was like numerous amount of spools I just kept going back for and going back for and going back for it, because that's the main thread I ran out of. Lord Jesus, I'm glad they're doing more color. Well, it's not like it wasn't no more colors, but I'm glad I have learned my lesson and brought the bundle pack and literally used different colors. Listen, with that being said, basically what I'm saying is if you're a designer, be wise, and like if you do embroidery and sewing, be wise and use, like, for one, don't get this thread. This thread is like a nightmare. It does not really work well on leather. Maybe I'll try it on some cotton. I was really frustrated. I actually tried to throw that away. I actually threw it away and thought to myself, spend money on this, take it out the garbage can, use it. So I'm going to try it on more cotton-based fabrics, and if it doesn't work and it fucks up any more of my projects, it's going in the garbage. But again, if you are an embroidery and sewing person, you might want to take your chances and find some embroidery thread online. That's in a bundle package. I know I did. I guess I'm going to have to spend $44 because, I mean, well, it's Christmas, so I'm hoping it won't be so. It'll probably change, but yeah. I'm going to have to spend $44 on some embroidery. And then, and if you are a designer looking for some deals, I can tell you now, Walmart does sell some good sewing threads bundle deals for about like $5 to $6, and you normally get about 8 to maybe 6 spools of thread, or actually maybe 8 to 9 spools of thread. I'm not really sure. I know one of the packs I brought first, it was about 6, and then the next pack I brought was about 8. So I had a nice decent amount of thread for only about $6 to $7. I think it was $6 to $7 for 8, and then $5 to $4 for like 6. So those are actually worth it, and they work well with the British machine. Not also because it was by brother, but also because it was by some of these are all by like all purpose, and all that. It doesn't really fuck up the clothes or anything, and it doesn't really catch. But this sewing machine, it actually runs very smoothly. So I would say your best bet is getting like bundle packages. If you all know that by now, then you don't need to pay me no attention. But if you all are new and who don't really know how to sew, and you're a beginner, like I am a little bit, you might want to go. Well, I'm a beginner to embroidery, but sewing I've been up on this for a little bit longer. But yeah, if you are a sewer, you might want to keep your chances with a big old bundle bag. And I mean, steer clear of your money spending. And do not just use black thread for all your garments, because you'll go broke. You go broke. I also like to say, sellers, please make y'all sewing equipment and not sewing equipment, sewing tools less expensive. We all designers can't afford all that. We can't afford all that. It is expensive to buy thread and needles, and needles. Dude, regular needles only cost about maybe about $3. But when I was looking for regular needles, cost about maybe like $3 or $4. That's not necessarily bad, depending on if you go to a certain store. Or again, I don't live near no other sewing shops besides Stony Brook, and that's in Burlington, or Bordentown. Yeah, Bordentown. It's Bordentown. Yeah, Bordentown. That's a little bit closer. But other than that, yeah, if I said Burlington in the first half of it, it's Bordentown, not Burlington. Bordentown. But yeah, if that's the only sewing shop, literally, and it only carries certain brands. I know it carries Brother and Hutzbana and the Brianna or Brini, whatever it's called, the Brinity. I don't know what it's called. It's another source of sewing machine, and the Singer, and Genomi. All them sewing machines. It carries all them sewing machines. But I'm not sure how much of the thread it has. I know it has the Smith's needles too. I could probably go there, but like I said, and it depends on the shop and it depends on the expensive. I normally just go to Walmart because it's less expensive. But like I said, the cheaper you buy your stuff, the cheaper the price, the less of a good bargain you get. So pretty much, you're gonna. Like, for me, that's I guess a life lesson, and I'm gonna have to take my lesson and learn from it. So pretty much, if you are a designer, you gotta go with your expensive luxury, which is going to the most expensive shops to get your sewing stuff. Unless y'all know any other places where I can get sewing, unless y'all know any other places where designers or anybody who's creative likes to get any needing sewing needles, thread, and anything like that, or surgery needles and thread, leave it in the comments below. Let me know where you buy your stuff at, and how much does it cost, and how much do you spend. With that being said, I know this is probably boring and all, but I have nothing really to, I have a lot to, I could come up with things as I go, but like I said, it's not much to really come by, because, we're in a pandemic, and buying stuff is a little scarce. I could try to go to Walmart, but then I gotta say for Christmas gifts as well. See, it's a little bit of a nudge hole when you try to spare Christmas and, exceeded gifts for other people. So, yeah, it's trying to not to spend Christmas money, and you gotta buy gifts for people. So pretty much, I'm gonna try, and all my money, I'm gonna try to keep as much. I'm gonna try to find as much sewing the ideas I can, and I can find something to sew by next week. I'll let you guys know. But like always, it is time to go. I always throw the deuces at the end of this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. I am Sexy Chocolate 21, and always an ending deuces.